Good afternoon. My name is Jamal Watkins. The purpose of this video is for a legal consultation that we have scheduled. Now, due to other circumstances, which I will get into as this video continues, I probably will not be there in person. However, there is a lot of paperwork that I have that could help support my claim and hopefully get you to represent me as I plan to move forward in filing a case against the Colorado Judicial Branch in federal court. I will say beforehand at the beginning of this video that I plan on emailing this video to several others as well as posting it online, because just due to the very nature of all of the information I'm going to present, these people are highly dangerous and very ruthless. I'm asking you to represent me because the Colorado Judicial Branch tried to set me up in 2007. What I have here, and I will leave it there for a second because I know that it will be backwards on your camera and you may need to blow it up and look at things. I won't go through all of the pages, but that is a copy of my original police report from 2007. I revisited the courthouse after I got out of prison. The affidavit signed by the detective to get a warrant for my arrest, as well as the police report filed with it, which matched the affidavit, are both very inaccurate and very different from the police report I was given copies of. I'm not entirely sure exactly how public defenders have their ranking system, but my public defender, as you can see here, signed this request for a full discovery as a deputy district, or as a deputy public defender. I've heard of deputy district attorneys, but never a deputy public defender. And here is a stack of requests as I asked him repeatedly for a copy of my full discovery instead of just a partial police report. After or while I was in prison, and this information ties directly into the actual 2010 or 2007 setup and the continuousness of the persecution that I faced at their hands, how this is ongoing. I was denied 6.5 months pre-sentence confinement credit time. And when I started to fight for it in court, my legal mail started being stolen by the Colorado Judicial Branch. All of that right here can be tied into this one motion for an extension of time, where that case was in the Colorado Court of Appeals and the State Attorney General's office, as well as the Division of Adult Parole, Probation, and YOS, conspired with each other to steal that mail. I still have the letter sent to me that authorized the U.S. Marshal to serve the summons upon my public defender, that I did not grab for this video, but I did grab this affidavit that I wrote to the court because it was pro se, about how if that parole officer was truly in the reserve and had been sent to active duty overseas, I would have dropped the matter. I was never provided any proof. While on parole, I had my parole revoked. This stack of paperwork, because I was put into a halfway house for 3 months after fighting the revocation for 3 months, they gave me 6 months total. It's just a stack of grievances at the halfway house alone. It doesn't include grievances I filed while in prison. In case there's any question, here's the paperwork discharging my parole saying I successfully completed. In 2010 and 2011, I began dating a girl named Mary Elizabeth Henson, whom later on I found out was a police network CI, confidential informant. Because of everything they've been trying to do to set me up, I fought against so successfully with paperwork of my own, they decided to turn to the streets to try and set me up and have the streets build up paperwork. I ended up on probation for destruction of private property, and they once again tried to bury me in paperwork. As you can see, this is a revocation. However, the thing about Ms. Henson is that in her trying to bury me in paperwork, she filed a restraining order against me at one point. The reality is this, because first, I have this sheet where I filed paperwork against her for a temporary restraining order. The thing about that temporary restraining order was on the date that it was supposed to be made permanent. The permanency hearing, which was September 1st, 2011. She showed up and on that same day had filed a restraining order of her own, filled with lies, in order to blackmail and strong-arm me to force me to drop mine. Here's the paperwork that says I agreed to drop mine. Permanency hearings are held 2 weeks after the original filing. And I will go back to the original one that I filed. It should, yes, it's right here at the very bottom. The next hearing is September 1st. This section right here. That was the permanency hearing. So on September 1st, as you can see, it was dissolved. Plaintiff withdraws request. The reason why is right here. We talked about it. She had filed hers. And right here is the paperwork from September 15th. I had my copy of her restraining order stolen from me. I did keep that, but have been unable to find it as the years have gone by. The CI network that Mary Elizabeth Henson is a part of, along with her police allies, along with other mitigating circumstances which would not apply in this case, so I won't get into them. People have been stealing that paperwork. But here's the September 15th, 2011 paperwork saying that she herself withdrew her request. Part of all of this was the purposeful misrepresentation of my record to CBI, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. I found out about that when I applied for housing, and they showed me a copy of my police report. Upon contacting CBI, they told me they were only a reporting agency and that they couldn't change the record. They'd have to get the paperwork from the police. It took me a year to get my record cleared because the Colorado Judicial Branch refused to give accurate paperwork to CBI so that they could properly report my reasons for going to prison. I have here an almost accurate CBI, and this is dated, what's the date on this one? Well, there is no date on it, but it does include everything up to that probation, which is the last time I had any legal issues within the system that I had to go to court for. And that would have been 2011. But at the back of that, I kept this. 6th of May, 2011, I faxed to Ronald Franz, who was a supervisor at CBI, my own personal record on why I had been arrested and sent to prison. And that is when my record was fixed, because the Colorado Judicial Branch wouldn't do it. So, like I said at the beginning, the purpose of this video was to make you privy to some of the paperwork. This is just some of what I have that can help prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the Colorado Judicial Branch not only was setting me up, but still has not stopped. As of this date, I am still hounded by members of their street network, because I've already fought so hard with so much paperwork within the system. Those that were trying to set me up that way have relied on others to try and do their dirty work for them. One last thing. When it comes to these restraining orders, the restraining order that Mary Elizabeth Henson had filed against me, at one point later on that year, she went to a battered women's shelter. She gave me the phone number and the address and would ask me to call her or meet her there. I was still hoping to help her out. I was still hoping, if nothing else, we could be friends. She had a lot of really cool points. She told me it was a homeless women's shelter. It was a battered women's shelter whose location was supposed to be kept secret. I ended up finding this out from staff, who took copies, or made copies rather, of my driver's license or my ID. At the time, I didn't have a license. My DOC ID, because I still had that. It has since been stolen. I took them copies, well, the originals of my own court paperwork, of which they made copies of and sent faxes of and everything. The point is this. When the police are willing to allow one of their confidential informants to completely blow out of the water the location of a secret battered women's shelter in order to try and set me up, they were trying to make me look crazy, make me look like a stalker, make me look like I couldn't leave her alone. And they blew out of the water a battered women's shelter whose location was supposed to be kept secret. Hopefully now you can better understand why I'm so insistent on filing this case, why I'm going to be emailing copies of this video to others, as well as posting it on certain social media sites. These people are ruthless and dangerous. The reasons why they're trying to set me up so hard isn't because of anything I've done or who I am. They want something from you, and they can't have it. That is for your own personal information. None of these things would truly apply in court. The realities that would apply in court would be things like my race. These are hate crimes. As far as this case goes, it's no more, no less. My race and my religion. I'm black and Christian. I'm clad with polka dots and Christian. I'm of mixed heritage. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. You should have my number.